archetypal conspiracy theory might go something like this.
There is a clandestine secret society in our midst. They are alien to all we believe in and are about to seize control of the world. They are everywhere. They are ruthless and powerful. They are sexually deprived. They perform the most heinous crimes known to mankind.
Belief in conspiracy theories is more than just the belief in an occasional underhand plot. It is a belief system that asserts that world events are being governed in secret by a group of ultra-powerful puppeteers behind the scenes. While little may be done about this apparent corruption, at least we have the satisfaction of having worked out what is going on.
Of course, one can argue that obsession with conspiracy theories serves only to demonstrate the lunatic paranoia running rife in today's society. Much talk about conspiracies is dismissed as paranoia, and much of it is paranoia. But in reality, history has proved all too well that politicians lie, presidents lie, and bureaucrats lie.
If we continue to be gullible and believe everything that is presented to us, the truth will never come out.
What does the word conspiracy really mean? Google says that it is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful, or in a less dramatic fashion, the action of plotting. Like when my brother and I used to climb olive trees and he decided to open one up and throw it on my white jeans. I could never wear them again, they had to be thrown away. Complete conspiracy to ruin my life, right? Not many people that I know like olives. For me, they remind me of summer, the sea, lots of bread and lots of oil. I mean, oil's a bit of a funny thing, everyone seems to fight over it. Not here though, not where we are. Here is a place where we can reflect and be happy. A place where we can take a nice organised break before we step back into our nice organised lives and hope that we can afford the ever-rising prices of petrol. It's like a more complicated version of Monopoly. We bought my sister Shannon a game for her birthday. It was way back in 2011. The 4th of January, she was 6. Personally, I don't even remember being 6. It must have been a pretty insignificant time for me. I definitely don't remember getting so hyped up over the game that I cried and flipped the board over when I lost. Can you imagine though, if people treated real life and business like a game of Monopoly, the amount of people that would suffer just so one player could earn their next paycheck? My sister though, she had balloons, homemade cake and a waiter singing to her. She died of embarrassment. It ends up being a really strange day. I remember sitting on my cream sofa watching the news. And I remember seeing a man lying in a hospital bed. Then I remember seeing the president come and shake his hand. And I remember thinking, who is this man and why is the president shaking his hand? Oh, and then I remember hearing about the man dying. Then my brother Emil changed the channel and my dad exploded like a cluster of fireworks because he was still trying to watch the news right, and this was the 4th time Emil had attempted to get away with it. Have you ever woken up to fireworks and found out they were gunshots? Or seen your favourite uncle change before your eyes as he's taken in by a whole new belief system? It's a belief system that doesn't care for you or me, but it makes him feel safe because his son just died and he can't let go. I remember the need to stock up in case it became too dangerous to leave the house. The streets had a very eerie feel to them. I decided that I would go to the local shop and surprise my family with food that we could store. But it was really just because I was curious. The chaos that had been on the news the night before had reached my town. And, well, nobody was out, and I half expected everywhere to be shut after all of that, but it turns out people do have to make a living no matter how angry they are. We're always so busy. We're too busy to notice anything. Not the way the wind blows, or birds flying by, or little clusters of ants dutifully building their homes and scouring for food to bring back to their leader. We came home to find our kitchen infested with ants once. Disgusting, right? It was at the time we lived on the bottom floor and kept the window wide open. This meant that during the summer any little spillage would have them running. But they were just doing their jobs. And sometimes I think that ants are some of the most similar things to us humans. And I wonder if they ever question their positions like we have the ability to. I mean, most of the time they spent building their anthills would be in vain as soon as my dad got to gardening. But yet they just keep building it back up as if they were on autopilot. You know, I remember my dad had this massive pitchfork that he would keep under his bed. That was after we woke up to burglars in the house, though. Basically, the problem was our neighbours had built on a little bit of our land, which meant that their house was so squashed up against ours that anybody could get onto their roof and practically walk onto our balcony. And with all the rumours going on about the country's current situation and certain people taking advantage of that, there was even more need for it to be there. You know, I remember our whole neighbourhood banding together just like the ants would to rebuild and protect each other. That kind of reminds me of the Hand of Fatima, actually. I used to have it on a necklace when I was very little. It's a sign of protection. It represents blessings, power and strength. It is supposed to deflect the evil eye, bringing only positive things to life. I didn't have it with me when I went to sit my exams, but someone must have been looking out for me because my mum and I missed our usual train by minutes, only to find out later that there had been a bomb on it. I don't actually know how I should feel about that. I heard that somebody had picked it up and thrown it out the window, but that sounds a bit far-fetched, doesn't it? Then again, a guy had a canister of tear gas thrown at him by the police and he picked it up and he threw it back. So, yeah. Right, well, our neighbourhood, what we did is we blocked the entrance to it with barrels and we set up a watch system because, you see, there'd been a tip-off of these white cars driving around. And what these cars would do is they'd break into your houses and they would kill you on sight. And these cars, they wouldn't wait until after dusk to shoot you with a rooftop with a sniper, but they'd come around in broad daylight. I never saw any of these cars, but it is difficult to pick out what's real and what isn't when you're only given half of the narrative. I mean, everything's a narrative. Telling stories is something we've been doing since the beginning of time. I actually remember being told a story of a man who liked too much ice cream. Now, this man had been deprived of ice cream all of his life, but he'd seen it, he'd heard of it, and he wanted a taste for himself. Now, ice cream is a pretty nice thing to have on a hot summer's day, or, you know, any time for some people. It's refreshing, it's tasty, and it slides down your throat so smoothly that you don't even realise how much you're ingesting. You don't realise the damage that it's doing to your system, bit by bit, you know. Drop by drop. How could something so sweet be so destructive? I mean, have you seen the ingredients in this thing? Right, okay, so it's double cream, glucose syrup, gelatine, maize starch, sulfur, potassium nitrate, carbon, potassium sulfide, nitrogen. What does that say? Carbon dioxide, ample of sugar, and of course cocoa butter. It's getting a bit hot in here, don't you think? No, I mean like literally. hot, like I literally feel like I'm about to burst into flames or something, or catch fire. So I'm probably just paranoid.